Round and round, section A, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Section B, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 getting ready to crash on the 1. Section C, you'll start with the crash on the 1. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1. Here's the fill at 15 seconds. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Section D, you just crashed. That's the 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1. Section E, you just had the crash. Right here, you're going to watch out for the 3 kick pattern because it comes up pretty quickly and it helps to know ahead of time in the song where these are at. So you've got the 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1. Section F, you would have just crashed on the 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1. Section G at 40 seconds, you would have just crashed on the 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1. Section H at 47 seconds. 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Section I at 55 seconds, the same cadence of crashes. 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and a. In the video, I had like a predetermined little cymbal shimmy so that I didn't stumble. So I kind of did, if I'm looking at the end of the second bar, and a 1 and a 1. Whatever you put there, just make sure you know it ahead of time so you don't lose your count. So on that one, I don't necessarily count, but if you didn't shimmy or if you just did like a standard like single stroke shimmy, then you would count, but I just kind of did a and a 1 and a 1 and a 1. So find what works for you in that section. Section J, you're continuing off that previous measure with the and a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And be ready to catch to choke the crash cymbal on that part. One more time. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Section K, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 getting ready to crash back to back and 1. Section L, you would have come in on the crash, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1. Let me show you that whole section again. That cadence is a little bit hard to follow. Starting on the first bar at 114. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1. I break that second bar up into 2 parts. I'm going left to right. 1 and 2. Simple enough, right? 1 and 2. 1 and 2. Then the back half, I start with the right and I go 3 and 4 and 1. 3 and 4 and 1. 3 and 4 and 1. Now just put them together. 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 1. Section M, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1. Section N, watch for the 3 kick because it comes up quickly. So again, you need to know where these are in the song ahead of time. So it comes in with 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1. Section O, there's another 3, so be aware of that, and you're going to come in on that crash. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1. Section P, what do you think I'm going to say? Watch out for the 3 kick right here. Ready? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. One, 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Let me show you that last bar. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. And at full speed, it's going to have a little bit of a drag feel. 1 and 2 and 3. Section R at 2 minutes, that same crash sequence. 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and a 1. And then remember, you've got the option to do kind of a single stroke or, you know, some kind of a pattern like I did, and a 1 and a 1. Which takes you into section S. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 Section T at 212 or thereabouts. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1 and 2, 3 and 4, and 1, 2, 3 and 4. 1 and 2, 3 and 4, and 1. Section U at 220 has that right to left and then the back and forth that we kind of looked at earlier. So let me show you once and then I'll show you one more time. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So let me show you that cymbal cadence again on the second bar. 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 1. Remember, we're splitting that in half. The first half is 1 and 2, and the back half is 3 and 4 and 1. And then the fill, I think actually on the and, it's probably a flam on the floor tom. So the fill at 224, 225 is probably like this. 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 1. Section V, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and a 3 and a 4 and 1. I highlighted some spots in green where the count turns into a triplet count and a 3 and a 4, right? And a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4. So again, if you know where those are at ahead of time, you don't change your general 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, right? It's just 1 and 2 and a 3 and a 4 and. So you'll pick up the extra notes in those sections that are highlighted in green. Section W, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and a 3 and a 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 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 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. On that last bar, you know, and a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Whatever sequence you do is totally fine. And a 1 and 2 and whatever sequence you do is totally fine. And a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Section Y, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 4 and 1. Let me show you that last bar. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Just back and forth. If you wanted to play it technically correct to what he does on the album, it would go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4. Because I found those, the transition and then the cymbal choke and the gap of the and of 1, to just at full speed for how many hours I spent, like minimal, like 7 hours practicing. It was too hard. So again, you can do 2 different versions and no one's going to know the difference. The first version is the album. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4. The other version is kind of taking out some of those gaps and the cymbal chokes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4. If you count it, then you would count 1 and 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a, which to me is really tricky and out of sequence. So again, there are two ways. Kind of the first way, which is sort of by feel. 1 and 2 and 4. Or like literally counting it. 1 and 2 and 4. But I found when I would literally count, it would put me back behind by a note. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4. It's just a clunky way to count. So for me, 1 and 2 and E and 4 tended to work the best. Section double B, as in bane of my existence, because I keep doing this part over and over. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and. Right? So what's tricky is that final bar at like 312, 313. 1 and 2 and 1. Again, if you were to count it literal, that's where you get hung up. 1 and 2 and a 3 and 4 and 1 doesn't flow at all. That's why I've removed the notes and just called it 1 and 2 a 3 and 1. And as you play it, you'll feel the rhythm of it. So just adjust the count to only count what's there. Don't worry about going 1 and 2 and a 3 and 4 and 1, because it's not going to flow as well. Double C, there's an a 3 kick, so watch for that. 1 and 2 and a 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Make sure you start the and with the right hand to free you up for the proper crash sequence. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Now I'm ready to crash on the next bar. Double D, this is some tricky footwork here. I think on the album, it's like this. 1 and a 2 E, a 3 and a 4. 1 and a 2 E, a 3 and a 4. 1 and a 2 E, a 3 and a 4 E. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 and a 4. I think the way I played it, because I had walked like 8 miles the day before and my leg was so tired, was probably just like a consistent, like 1 and a 2 E, a 3 and a 4 E, a 1 and a 2 E, a 3 and a 4 E, a 1 and a 2 E, a 3 and a 4 E, a 1 and 2 and a 4. Doesn't matter how you slice it, nobody's really going to notice the difference. 1 and a 2 E, a 3 and a 4 E, 1 and a 2 E, a 3 and a 4 E, a 1 and a 2 E, a 3 and a 4 E, a 1 and 2 and 4. Double E. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Section double F. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So that fill 343 or whatever it is. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. One more time. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Double G. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and a 2 and 3 and a 4 and 1. Now if you remove the crash, you can just end with the 3 and a 4 and 2 for the next bar. Either way will be totally fine. 1 and a 2 and 3 and a 4 and 2. Or you can follow it with 2 crashes. 1 and a 2 and 3 and a 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Nobody's going to be able to tell the difference. 1 and a 2 and 3 and a 4. I know it's weird form to cross on that 4, but I find that that's the smoothest play of it. 1 and a 2 and 3 and a 4. Double H at 353. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1. Or some variation of that. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Section double I 401 is going to have those color blocks to signal the and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4. So keep an eye out for those and watch for the blocks as you go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 4 and 1. Let me show you that fill again. 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 1. Let me show you the fill at 406 again. 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 1. So again, the right hand doesn't change even though it feels like it does. It's just on the 8th notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and. The kick snare is 1 and 2, 3 and. And when you put them together, 1 and 1 and 2 and 4 and 1. Play until the lights go out, I guess. Section J, watch for the shaded triplet blocks. 1 and 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Let me show you that fill sequence again. 1 and 2 and 3 and. Here's the 2 bars, okay? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and. Finally, section double K. It's a weird closure. So again, the music fades out and it's a strange count compared to what the count has been. So just pay attention for the triplet blocks and then just specifically following note by note, okay? So the last bar, 1 and 2 and 3 and 2 and a 3 and 4 and a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and a 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Again. The last fill, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and a 3 and 4 and a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and a 2